Let's bring in Michael Landsberg. He is Chief Investment Officer of Landsberg, Bennett Private Wealth Management. And I don't know how I'd characterize your feelings now, Michael. You're not, I don't think you're a raging bull. You're not really that worried even about trade, even about China. You figure high single digits for the year for the S&P. I just figured that out. We're there. Yeah. So what does that mean? That you stock pickers market? You don't know if the averages necessarily, the S&P, end that much higher from here?
I think they do, Joe. I think the high single digits is more an earnings. For this quarter, last quarter we saw double digits in S&P 500 earnings. This quarter, I think you're going to see high single digits. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a deceleration from where we were. NASDAQ is still going to be probably mid-teens. I think the first quarter, I think, was a surprise to lots of folks. And in the second quarter, I think people thought it's going to be worse than it is. And I think it's going to be a little bit better than it is. So I think the back half of the year probably is going to be up, probably what the front half of the year was. I don't think it's going to be at 24, but I think we're on pace to go a little higher here.
So it says, and leading to a respectable high single-digit full-year 2025 market gain is what it says here. Are you raising? That's
no,
not.
That probably was misstated. I think the earnings.
So you're talking about earnings.
Earnings, yeah.
So the S&P could be up in the teens, mid-teens, high teens.
Probably mid-teens.
Mid-teens.
I think basically the first half of the year, I think you can multiply that. I think the back half of the year sets up well if we get rid of. Obviously, some of the tariff issues have been taken care of. I think when we get on to deregulation, which to me is going to be, I think, hopefully a real spur to the market, that could really be something interesting in the back half of the year if we get to that. Because we have already gotten through the tariff to some extent in the tax bill.
And you figure that the Fed is in pretty good shape. And I don't know if you have a lot of problems with the way they're viewing things right now, what they're likely to do today.
Yeah, right now, no. I mean, I've had problems in the past. I think they've been on the wrong side of inflation and things.
Right.
But right now, I think if you didn't have a president pushing for interest rate cuts, I don't think we'd have this discussion. I mean, employment's in good shape.
Yeah.
Inflation's 2.5%, 2.6. That's not really the time to see rates get cut. So I think you're at a pretty neutral rate here. I think they're not going to do anything today. It doesn't mean I don't think they're going to see some dissent. I think there's going to be some interesting comments with what Powell says in the presser after. Yeah,
you figure we get volatility with whatever happens with the China trade deal, whatever happens with tariffs, but onward and upward probably. You got some stock ideas. For one of our producers, I got a Rheinmetall. Are you sure that's not a German techno band?
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
Kraftwerk, Rammstein, or something? It's not.
It's not. It's actually it's a German manufacturer of arms, and
no way. They don't play in.
They don't play any instruments.
Okay.
But they do bring the pain to lots of people. It's very loud.
They're so like a defense contractor.
100%.
Okay.
And they've done well since obviously the Ukrainian war. But more importantly, during the Trump administration, Trump has said, "Hey, Europe,
step it up.
Europe, you're going to start paying more of your own freight." And what's happened is they're going to continue to do well because they finally actually increased their ability to manufacture as much as their sales have been, because that's been a little problem.
For years to come, you think demand will outstrip capacity. Yeah. Axon Enterprises, Spotify, you like those as well? Yeah,
Axon's a name that we've liked for a while. Axon makes basically tasers, but their number one thing is the body cam. So if you see a police interaction anywhere in the country, look in the top right corner, you'll see Axon Enterprises.
Everybody's got those, yeah.
And if you don't, you're a city manager saying, I got to get those because the lawsuits protect my officers. Obviously, what we just saw in the city here, you're going to want to make sure that the officers feel protected and that there's cameras around.
Right, and then people pay for Spotify.
And Spotify is one of those names. It's hard to switch. But the other thing I liked about Spotify, their average user, it's 12% a year. They're growing every single time they're users. And it's hard to get out of that. Once you're a Spotify user, you're not going to switch.
Right.
It kind of got you sucked in.